I'm unwilling to wait one more second. I'm not going to have one more rape, one more assault, one more family coming home to a house with a fire started in the living room by somebody who's been living on the streets. I will do everything every day until somebody, those are the lawmakers, change these laws.
Good evening, New Mexico. Yes, plenty is happening on the national stage right now, but we've got our own political theater front and center in New Mexico this week.
In just 3 days' time, we'll be heading back to our roundhouse for a public safety special session, but it appears the 4 proposals Governor Lujan Grisham has put on the table, well, they might be already dead in the water. One of them, a competency bill allowing judges to involuntarily commit certain defendants for mental health treatment. Also a pedestrian safety bill outlawing people from being on certain medians. Of course, this really impacts our homeless population. Felon in possession of a firearm changes. They would increase the mandatory prison sentence. And finally, a bill to require every law enforcement agency statewide to submit monthly reports on crime.
There's the saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Some may argue our governor has reached that point by calling this special session, since her 2 biggest proposals have already failed miserably at the Roundhouse. Recently, I spoke with her about why she's focusing on these controversial public safety ideas, and it is clear she has no plans of backing down or holding back on her frustrations with our legislature. You said after this last session, I think you said you were cranky, you were frustrated that more didn't get done that you thought needed to get done. What signs are there for you that you're not going to be cranky at this point 2 weeks from now?
My opinion is that New Mexicans know they're not safe and that they've had enough, and that they've had enough yesterday and the day before and months before and years before. And I've had enough myself. Yeah. And so I don't know that I'm not going to be cranky, but if people will call their legislators, those chances improve.
Competency is a huge issue to take on. There is a lot of legal obstacles. The ACLU has already talked about some concerns. Yep. I know a letter was sent to you by a coalition of mental health advocates concerned that they've been left out of the discussion.
And we've been digging into a lot of data, and the data is horrifying. And here it is.
Can you tell me where that data is coming from?
It comes from the Administrative Office of the Courts.
Okay.
Since 2017, more than 16,000 cases have been dismissed for competency. Well more than 5,000 of those cases, so a third, are dangerous felonies. It also shows that of those 5,000 plus cases, it's about 3,200 individuals, many of whom are before the courts between 30 and 40 times a year. We're not the only state. Florida, Washington, Oregon, New York, Texas, they've all made changes because they were looking at the same data I'm looking at, which, by the way, has been available to legislators every single year. I mean, they have hearings. They could have asked for this and they didn't. I'm looking at ways to fix it. That means we're going to get you the treatment you need so that you're not wreaking havoc on the streets of my communities and neighborhoods.
The Law Office of the Public Defender, they gave us some data, and they show that in the past 5 years, anywhere between 2 to 3% of their cases have been dismissed because of competency. So you compare that to looking at teen violence, where more than 1,200 kids have been referred to the Bernalillo County DA since January of 2023. Some people wonder if we're missing the mark, if competency is really the top issue that we need to talk about to keep families safe.
Yeah, look, if you got 3,200 people that have committed crimes such as rape and continue to break into your retailers, you don't get to focus on preventions for teen and teen accountability. We're stuck in a vicious cycle where you're unsafe on every street corner every day. And those 3,200 felons, I assure you, are helping to provide firearms to the very teen risks that we're concerned about. We're putting folks in the right detention spots because we can do that for dangerous teens. We have actually a place, and we are building into more behavioral health. We've seen a 104% increase in behavioral health services. We have 130 beds available for these kinds of services. More are coming because I got to do it from both ends.
You were talking about having 130 beds available.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this competency treatment wouldn't be to that level where it has to be.
A lot of it likely will be. I mean, this is why these cases are complicated and why they can't figure it out. These are individuals who can't tell you that they'll accept treatment. They can't try. They don't do, they can't participate in a community program. Last year, I announced to the leadership, if you do nothing in Albuquerque, you'll be the #1 growing homelessness population in the country. Oh, there you go. And it gets exponential year after year. Mm-hmm. Very few legislators ask me for money to address homelessness. They will tell you, all of them, we see the risks. The leadership is calling it a crisis. Well, typically, if we're not arguing about whether or not we have a serious problem, typically there's momentum and movement and a willingness, even if we have different ideas, to solve it. I'm not even getting ideas. They've had months to give me their feedback and their suggestions. Months.
So are you happy with the feedback you've gotten, or pretty disappointed?
No, it's zero. I'm
zero
completely disappointed. Well, I exaggerated that. In general, from independent lawmakers, zero feedback. Mm-hmm. There's 112 of them. A few Republicans gave me some ideas. I said I would entertain it. The Democratic caucuses, as a caucus, have given me not one idea in response. And the bills they're evaluating all came from us. Yeah. We need a groundswell of support that this isn't the state we recognize, and we're not going to tolerate a state that's unjust and unfair, that doesn't have public safety as a core tenet, that isn't clear about protecting our families, including yours. That's our obligation, and I'm going to fight like hell until I get it.